Can Caitlin Clark play in WNBA playoffs? Why Fever star wouldn't be able to if healthy? Editor's note: select us as a preferred source here to keep seeing Indie Star in your search results. Atlanta, Caitlin Clark is not eligible to return for the Indiana Fever for the rest of the season, even if she was fully recovered and able to play. While Clark could have returned at any point in the regular season, each team needs to submit an active roster ahead of the WNBA playoffs. Only players on that submitted active roster are eligible to play in the postseason. Clark, who is out for the season with a right groin injury, was left off the active roster. The 2024 Rookie of the Year and All-WNBA first-team honoree was limited to 13 games with various injuries, including those to her left quad, left groin, right groin, and left ankle. The other 4 Fever players with season-ending injuries, Sydney Colson, left ACL, Ari McDonald, right foot, Sophie Cunningham, right MCL, and Chloe Bibby, right knee, were also left off the Fever's playoff active roster. Looking for a free mini-puzzle? Play the USA Today Quick Cross now. That left the Fever with 11 players on the active roster, 4 of which are signed with hardship waivers: Odyssey Sims, Ariel Powers, Shea Petty, and Bree Hall. Indiana has had 10 available players throughout the playoffs so far, as Damiris Dantas suffered a concussion last week and has missed all 3 games. Should the Fever advance further in the playoffs, Dantas would be eligible to return as she was listed on the Fever's playoff active roster. Chloe Peterson is the Indiana Fever beat reporter for Indie Star. Reach her at capeterson@gannett.com or follow her on X at @ChloePeterson67. Get Indie Star's Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark coverage sent directly to your inbox with our Caitlin Clark Fever newsletter. The Indiana Fever's season has been a roller coaster of growing pains, sparks of brilliance, and the relentless spotlight brought by rookie sensation Caitlin Clark. From the moment the franchise selected her with the #1 overall pick, expectations skyrocketed. Clark wasn't just a player stepping into the professional ranks, she was an entire phenomenon. A ratings booster, a ticket seller, and a beacon for the Fever's future. But as the season unfolded, a question started echoing across sports talk shows, fan forums, and social media debates. Can Caitlin Clark even play in the WNBA playoffs? On the surface, it feels like a no-brainer. She's the Fever's most visible star, a scorer who can shift momentum with logo threes, and a passer with court vision few possess. If the Fever claw their way into the postseason, wouldn't Clark automatically be part of the picture? The surprising answer: not necessarily. And even if she were healthy, rules and technicalities might keep her sidelined. This isn't about talent, it's about timing, contracts, and the tricky intersection between college commitments and professional obligations. Let's unpack the complicated reality behind why Clark might not be playoff eligible, even if she were perfectly healthy. 1. The Fever's Cinderella push. The WNBA playoff race is brutal. With just 12 teams and only 8 postseason slots, the margin for error is razor thin. For Indiana, every win mattered. Their roster, while young, started to find rhythm under head coach Stephanie White's system. Aaliyah Boston continued her growth as a dominant interior force. Veterans chipped in with leadership. But no one drew more eyeballs, or pressure, than Clark. From 9,000-seat sellouts to record-breaking TV ratings, she was the heartbeat of the Fever. And while the team's success wasn't entirely dependent on her, it's hard to deny she changed the franchise's trajectory. So if Indiana managed to sneak into the playoffs, fans assumed she'd naturally be the centerpiece. That's why the idea of her being ineligible feels so jarring. 2. Why eligibility is complicated. At the heart of this puzzle lies the overlap between NCAA commitments, the WNBA's unique calendar, and contractual nuances. Clark played a grueling final season at Iowa, taking the Hawkeyes all the way to the NCAA championship game. Her tournament run bled deep into April, overlapping with the start of WNBA training camps. Unlike the NBA, where rookies have months between March Madness and the pro season, WNBA draft picks are thrown almost immediately into action. The timeline looks like this. Early April, NCAA Final Four wraps up. Mid-April, WNBA Draft Night. Late April, early May, training camps open. May, WNBA season begins. That's a whirlwind transition. For rookies like Clark, it leaves little room to recover, let alone negotiate every wrinkle in eligibility. Now, when it comes to playoffs, the WNBA requires players to have been under contract and eligible by a certain point in the regular season. If there are contractual conflicts, say, a player didn't sign in time or missed too many games due to injury, they may not be playoff eligible. This is where the hypothetical roadblock for Clark emerges. 3. The hypothetical injury factor. Let's imagine Clark had suffered a season-ending injury early in her rookie campaign. Under typical league rules, teams can place injured players on certain lists, which sometimes complicates playoff eligibility. If a rookie never technically activated for enough regular season contests, there could be questions about whether they can return for playoffs, even if they recovered in time. That's one layer of the dilemma. But for Clark, it goes deeper. 4. The draft and play dilemma. Unlike international leagues, the WNBA doesn't have a developmental circuit where rookies can be stashed. Once drafted, they're immediately thrown into the professional pool. But because Clark's NCAA run went so deep, the Fever essentially had to wait on her availability. Imagine if Indiana had needed her for preseason preparation and she wasn't there. Technically, had her contractual window not aligned, playoff eligibility could have been at risk. The WNBA operates with strict cutoffs. If a player doesn't meet the criteria by certain dates, they can't be activated for the postseason. That's why commentators have raised the question, what if Caitlin Clark had been injured or unavailable long enough that she missed the mark? 5. The league's rules on eligibility. According to WNBA guidelines, and this is where fans get surprised, to play in the playoffs a player must be on the roster by the cutoff date, generally late in the season. In good standing contractually, meaning no conflicts with outside commitments. Physically cleared to play. On paper, these sound straightforward. But when you insert Clark's unusual rookie year, her deep NCAA run, the draft's quick turnaround, the constant physical toll, it creates hypotheticals where she may not check all boxes. 6. The if healthy paradox. This brings us to the heart of the debate. Why wouldn't Clark be eligible even if healthy? Because eligibility isn't always about health. It's about timing. Had Clark missed large portions of the regular season due to injury or outside obligations, she might not have met the WNBA's cutoff for postseason participation. In that scenario, even if she healed by the playoffs, the rules could still block her. It's a paradox where her body might be ready, but bureaucracy says no. 7. Why this matters beyond Clark. The discussion isn't just about Caitlin Clark, it's about the future of the WNBA. Her case highlights the structural tension between the NCAA calendar and the WNBA's compressed schedule.